Hey, what's going on, everyone? I hope you like my quick switches there and transitions with the screens. So happy you could all join us on this Friday here in the summer. Always joined by AC today, who carved out some time to co-host and talk about our guests here. AC, my man, what is going on? Busy week for you as always,
Hey,
right?
what's up? What's up, all? And yeah, raining evening here and missing joining you as in the live every time. So it's very fun. And yeah, GMJX YGG fam, we're gonna have a beamable night tonight, right,
Yeah,
Colin?
that's right. You're always
A
hitting us with
beaming
the
night.
jokes. A beaming night.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, so we've got some special guests here. Again, a little bit of a
Mm-hmm.
different shake up. It's not a game today, but more of a platform, a network of sorts. But we have a special guest from the team, the CEO himself, John. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, you're a busy guy. I know you're hopping from meeting to meeting, just like the rest of us here. Very similar to Gabby. It's very hard to rein in Gabby himself. He's just like you, meeting for meeting. I guess
Yeah, but
CEOs.
not too busy for this though. I've been a big fan of YGG for a long time and what you guys have been working on, and I'm happy to talk to you. I know it's a little bit off the beaten track, given it's a development platform for games. It's not a game itself, but we have like 100 plus games, and we can talk about how we're helping game developers and some of the opportunities that we're going to open up for the YGG community to participate and all that.
Yeah, I think later on we'll kind of dive into some of the games that the community might know from your network. I did notice in the trailer there we saw Mystery Society, which is actually very dear to our community, and you know, hopefully something happens there. I know we had talked with them, and unfortunately they were kind of shutting down, but who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, really cool to see that game there. So maybe as we dive in more, you can tell us some of the games that you're super excited for on your own network. But why don't you just kind of give us a brief overview of what Beamable is and mainly how it came to be? Like what idea kind of came it popped into your head to say, "Hey, I want to be the CEO and make this, game development platform."
Well, I guess I have to share a little bit about what I did before Beamable if we're going to get into the origin story here. So there's two parts of my career before Beamable. One is that I ran a development tools company for building websites. So basically just tools to make it more visual and non-technical to launch websites. And I took that company public on NASDAQ. It had like 300 people, so grew it through the whole life cycle. And then the other half of my life has been pursuing my true love, which is games. So I built a game studio called Disruptor Beam, and we worked with some of the biggest entertainment franchises in the world. So Star Trek, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead. We built games on that, shipped games to 20 million players, and while there, shipped one of the first blockchain games as well. So we took the Star Trek Timelines game that we had built, which was originally a mobile and PC based game, and created a blockchain edition on it on one of the early gaming chains. So that also gave me really early exposure to what has since become known as Web3 gaming. So I had done those two things before, but about 5 years ago, I just realized that I could have so much greater impact on the world if I took those two experiences, which are kind of very different and unique, to put them together, but development tools and game development. And if I could bring those together and make a platform that helped game developers build games more easily, then I could actually have much greater impact on the world. So what we are is a platform for all of the online parts of games. So if you think about what a game is now, there's the front end of the game, which is graphics and gameplay and music and all the things you touch and interact with. But behind the scenes in a game, there's something called the back end. And the back end is where the online systems happen, the game servers, chat systems, online multiplayer, tournaments, events, blockchain integration, online economies, all of this functionality that involves more than you just playing by yourself has to happen somewhere. So it happens in game servers out on the internet. And that's what we build. We build game servers that deliver those kind of capabilities. And over the last 5 years, true to my plan, like if I had only continued building another game after another game in my own studio, I might have made one or two more games since then. But we've shipped over 90 games. We're getting close to 100 games now live and on the platform. You mentioned one. Yeah, unfortunately, the life cycle of games is always such that, some launch, they're successful, some go sideways. That's kind of the nature of the business. For us as a platform, we're kind of like a portfolio of a lot of games out there that can exist. And we just exist to help make these games a lot less expensive to build, let them focus on the fun. But some of the games that you might have also heard of, particularly in Web3, since YGG is a Web3 gaming community. So Mythical Games is one of our customers. They launched FIFA Rivals on the platform a few weeks ago. That's a huge game. That may well be the largest Web3 game that has launched so far. That was built on Beamable. A couple that are in development that you may have heard of. So one is called Wildcard Alliance. That's created by Paul Bettner, who did Age of Empires and Words with Friends and other household name kind of games. He's building a big game on top of Beamable. Project O, which is Kevin Lambert, and he's been big out in the communities. He's been at Microsoft Gaming for years and years. They're launching a collectible trading card game. So some of the biggest Web3 games are building on our platform because of how easy we make it for developers to launch those super complicated online pieces that involve, a different kind of development that not all game developers are suited to. It's online network code, it's server code, it's stuff that has to scale up in some cases to support millions of players if you're like a FIFA Rivals type game. So that's what we've been doing.
Excellent. Yeah, that's really cool. So you're letting the game developers focus on the fun aspects of it, and then you guys are handling all that back end stuff that really makes, the game tick on the back end, like the socials, the blockchain integration, that stuff. So super cool. And we definitely know a bunch of those. Wildcard jumps out to me, right, AC?
Yeah, definitely. And also FIFA Rivals. I've been playing it I think a few weeks ago up until now, and it
Yeah.
is very fun for me to.
So there you go. So
Yeah.
that's a game that has a lot of players. It's like 1 million players already that have signed up for that game. So very highly trafficked, and it has to scale. And that's the technology we create, the technology that allows these games to really scale and build all those online parts, the blockchain integration, the online purchasing, all of those social, economic, and online content systems.
Now, I know you said a bunch of Web3 names, but it also sounds like you're not adverse to allowing like Web2 games to also build on Beamable. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the game market is still like 99.9% Web 2, and a lot of the the requirements for games are kind of the same between Web 2 and Web 3. So online multiplayer and tournaments and matchmaking services, all of these things are not inherently Web 2 or Web 3. They're required across all of these games. And I believe that we build the strongest technology platform to support all game developers, regardless of their business model. For Web3, we happen to have very, very strong capabilities. We have integration with about 10 different blockchains. We have a lot of embedded support for NFTs and on-chain capabilities integrated to our game servers. That's an additional set of functions on top of the things that you always need for games, such as just core multiplayer functionality. So yes, we have lots of Web 2 games on the platform. In fact, most are Web 2 games on the platform because that's the market today, right? We have mostly Web 2 games in existence. And by supporting all game developers, regardless of platform and business model, that lets us build and continuously reinvest in the best platform for everyone.
Now, let's say I'm a Web 2 game that's been, built on Beamable or working with Beamable. Is there the option now, because you guys have, all these tools for Web 3? Let's say I'm Web 2 and I want to start integrating some of these blockchain aspects into it. Can I do that down the road with your help?
Absolutely, yeah. That's one of the things we make easy. In fact, a lot of game developers that want to build a Web3 game sort of kick the can down the road a bit because they don't know what blockchain they're going to be on. They're not completely sure how to structure the economy until later in their game design. So often what happens is developers will just start building gameplay and want the multiplayer interactive pieces for people to play together, but it'll start as a Web 2 game and then they'll add Web 3 capabilities. And then the other thing that we sometimes see is games will even change the chain that they started with. So for example, we have a customer named Pog Digital. If anyone remembers Pogs, they're creating the digital version of Pogs, are super collectible, and they're creating games around it. So they're built on Beamable, and they had started on a different chain, but recently decided to switch from that chain to 8chain. And they were able to just make that conversion very quickly, just like over a period of 10 days, they completely ported it over to a new chain. So we make it so you don't have to think about complicated things like blockchain integration or the technology for this. They just focus on the fun parts of the game and the frankly, the parts that the player cares about. The player only cares about the piece that we do, frankly, if it breaks. If it breaks, you see the message come up, like can't connect to server or something, then you get annoyed and then you might suddenly care like what's causing that problem. But really, like in the best case, we should be completely invisible and you never actually care about us. And it's just a game studio choice where they selected us to make their life easy.
Got it. And it's funny you bring up Pogs because I actually do follow it a little bit because one of our community members or a longtime friend of the stream, actually, No ACLs, has been doing quite a bit with Pogs. I think he's like the resident community like streamer or something like that. So I did notice them switch to 8chain. And now that you mention it, I remember them talking about Beamable and working with you guys too. So that's a funny coincidence there. A lot of our community might remember No ACLs as well. So it's funny how integrated Beamable is into a lot of the projects that we've kind of featured here. But just goes to show that I guess you guys are doing your jobs really, really well, to the point where we only know about you guys from all the kind of cool games that you guys have been working with.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to change that a little bit, and we're undergoing a big change in our own business model, which is taking our game servers and allowing community ownership of all of this infrastructure. So for the first time, really, in the past, like this infrastructure that we've created would run at places like Amazon or Microsoft with what they call their Azure platform, or Google has one called GCP. There's basically three companies that totally control almost all servers that you can build software, whether it's a game, a website, whatever. There's something really interesting underway in blockchain, which is called DPIN, and that stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. The easiest way to describe it is it's like Airbnb, but for computers or equipment assets. So just like Airbnb, if you own a piece of real estate, you could make available a room and rent it to someone. Or Uber, you own a car and drive other people around in it for the ride sharing economy. With DPIN, it's that same idea, but for computers. And what this means is we're moving the back end for a lot of these companies, for all these companies that are running on Beamable, out of this world of Amazon in really expensive infrastructure, and we're moving it to community-owned infrastructure, which means a few things. One is you as the community, you get to actually earn a piece of that. So you're actually providing a business service that these guys need. Just like if you need to get a ride somewhere, you could step in an Uber. This is no different than that. You could make your computer time available so that you can help be part of the network, and you earn the network token that we're launching for that. So this is a really transformative thing in the game industry, not only in the sense that you get to own a piece of infrastructure that used to be just multi-billion-dollar companies, but you're helping game companies as well, because this is much lower cost for them, which means they can take more of their money and put it into building great games. It's also an open ecosystem, so you can start building a community of developers who create code that they can share with each other on top of it. People don't really share code from Amazon project to Amazon project because that's closed, right? But in an open ecosystem with blockchain, people do that. And the other part is sustainability. So these big companies like Amazon have a history of essentially doing their own version of a rug pull on technology. Amazon had a platform called GameSparks. There was like 2,000 games on this thing, and they decided to shut it down. So then 2,000 games got shut down, enormous number of games. So when we build a community owned infrastructure with lots of suppliers, well, no one person or company gets to decide to shut down the business. That network service continues to be provided to the game companies that are depending on it. So, for anyone who's really interested in doing a lot of good in the game industry to help these game studios build better games, to be more sustainable, to save money, then you'll be able to be part of this and earn in the process because you own some of the servers that comprise the network. And that's our next stage. So we're launching a TGE in a few months, and we're rolling out some nodes that people can own. So a lot of ways to get involved with us in the coming months.
Yeah, I just want to let our community know, because I bet Drew's thinking right now, why haven't I mentioned joining their Discord? So guys, if you haven't hopped into the Beamable Discord, I'm going to give you like a 5-minute heads up before I bring Drew on stage from the Beamable team, who's going to be talking about their TGE and their airdrop. And all I can say is you're going to want to be in their Discord. There might be some cool things coming your way if you're in the Discord at the right time. So 5 minutes, go jump in there. But yeah, AC, I kind of want to hear your take on what John just said here, because I know for you in the Philippines, this idea of decentralized, I guess, data centers in a sense, right? You're making a community data center in a sense. What do you think, AC, about all that?
Yeah, it will be very interesting, especially with the guild structure that we have with the different guilds. They might run their own nodes, their own server on their places, and then get those nodes, run it on the help the ecosystem run their servers, the game servers. It's a very special thing. Especially we are in the decentralized stuff right now, and yeah.
Well, I love that idea too, because like I do quite a lot of investing outside of Web3 as well, and one of the areas that I'm really like excited for is data centers, right? Like we do not have enough data centers. We've talked with a bunch of AI partners before as well, where they're like, our AIs need more data. Well, what do your AIs need? With data is you also need data centers, right? You need somewhere to process that data. So whether it's gaming, whether it's helping game developers or AI, right? Like data centers are only going to get bigger. We need more data centers. I know here in Canada, where I'm from, data centers are looking to be spun up all over. I'm sure, John, you've heard of somebody called Kevin O'Leary, right? Big Shark Tank investor, right? He's looking to open data centers in Alberta. So it's obviously a hot ticket item. And the fact that you're going to allow some smaller players to get involved, right? Like we're talking multi-million, multi-billion-dollar people.
Billions of dollars to build data center infrastructure. Here's the things, though. Yes, we need more data centers, but we also need more efficient use of data centers. Let me just explain the way data centers are typically structured for most of their clients. So I'll draw the analogy to hotel rooms and cars, like we were just doing a little while ago. So if you own a car and you're not driving it around for Uber, it's just for your own personal use, then most of the day it's just parked in your driveway or somewhere like parking lot next to your office, wherever it is. So it's an asset which you're using this small percentage of the time, and then you're using it, and then it's just kind of sitting there in between. Someday, when cars are fully autonomous, you'll be able to just send them back to the network and monetize them while you're not even driving. Like that's the someday vision of like what happens with autonomous cars and car ownership. But in the near term, we have things like Uber, right? So Uber actually makes much more efficient use of these assets, because if you've got a vehicle, now you can do ride sharing and monetize your vehicle effectively during times that is not just for your own personal use. So in a data center, the typical way these computers are used is a client will come and sign up for a server or a lot of servers, and they'll lease it for a long time. And it's just for them. right? They don't share that same capacity with anybody else for those weeks or months or even years that they've allocated that server capacity. With DPIN, at least the way we have structured our DPIN network, it's more like ride sharing, where we have a lot of these servers on the network, and as demand scales up or scales down for individual game companies, they'll just use the piece of the servers that they need at that time, and when they're done, they come off of it and other people fill it. So it's sort of like having ride sharing at the game server level, which is much more efficient. So yes, you'll still need more data centers for sure, because the hunger for everything, games, AI, data storage, all this stuff, that is not ending anytime soon. But it isn't just adding data centers, it's figuring out how do you take those individual pieces of computer equipment and essentially ride share them more efficiently for the cases where you can do that. And gaming is one like that, because gaming like spikes up. Like a lot of people will play a game and then they'll kind of come out of it, and then it'll be a lower level of activity for a week, and then suddenly they'll do a big event or a tournament and everybody's piling back in again. So game usage is spiky, and it's actually not that efficient just to have a whole bunch of dedicated servers sitting there with nothing to do most of the time. So that's part of how we help bring better economics to the customer, in this case the game studios that are building on top of this.
Excellent. Yeah, John, you explained it way better than I ever could. Now, let's just talk about how somebody would get involved. So maybe I'm not a game developer, but maybe I have, I don't know, a spare computer or something that's fairly good. Like, will I be able to, have that computer running and have its compute be dedicated to this kind of ride sharing of servers?
Yeah, so Beamable Network is rolling out the first 3,000 what we call checker nodes. I'll explain what that is, but checker nodes can be owned and operated by anybody. You don't need like a data center. We have other kinds of nodes that are like actual data center capacity for like AAA games and stuff, but checker nodes can be run by anybody, and they have a really important job in a decentralized network, which is they go around and they make sure that all of the computer capacity that's supposed to be there is actually available to use. They also make sure that when a game pays for access to computational resources, meaning they get some game servers online and actually use them, that they're billed accordingly to like what they actually used, right? So in blockchain, you'll have people that'll try to like do all kinds of hijinks. So you have to have a lot of security built into the network to confirm, validate that things are what they say there. And that's what checker nodes do. So we're being really cautious about how we roll this out. So in the past, I think people have just spammed the market with tons and tons of nodes and just see how many they can sell. We're keeping it super limited. And we're making sure that the people who buy these nodes are from communities like YGG that care about games, care about these kind of projects. And so we're making allocations available of some of those nodes to people. And that's one way that YGG could get involved, is you could own and operate, as little as one node, so it could be done at the YGG level, the individual level. And that's right. In terms of where that thing can run, like the computational requirements of this are extremely low. Like you could literally have like a Raspberry Pi device can run a checker node, and that's enough. And in addition to that, we also have some partners that we brought on board. There are companies called InfStones, EaseFlow, and NodeOps. These are, if you want something super turnkey, where you just go connect your wallet, so the way you get a node key is essentially through an NFT. So you get the NFT, it's in your wallet, but then you can run it from wherever you want, whether it's your own device or on these platforms, those third-party platforms. You just go there with your wallet, you push a button, and they'll boot it up and run it for you for a monthly fee if you prefer to do that versus just run it on your own equipment.
Excellent. Love the fact that it's going to be low computational AAC.
Yeah, definitely, and it's runnable using the cloud, so it's very easy access, and probably it's very easy to set up. You just need to connect your wallet, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, once it's in your wallet, that acts as the unlock on the software. So the software checks to see that you've got a valid license, which is given by the NFT. And then when that is present, the node software starts running, and it effectively earns the Beamable network token as it operates. And we've made what I think is a pretty generous allocation of network token for the early adopters who get involved in these alpha node sales. We're setting aside 1% of the circulating supply of the token to be shared amongst all these node operators. So it's pretty good in terms of the token emissions. It'll continue to emit tokens, for as long as you hold on to it, not just month one, but in month one alone, that 1% is coming out.
Wow. Well, on the note of airdrops and nodes and whatnot, I'm gonna bring Drew on here because I know he's been waiting backstage, and maybe he can give us a little bit more details on the TGE itself and what we can expect from that, and then maybe some goodies for the people that did jump into Discord. So, Drew, welcome on stage. How are you?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's great that John could pull you over and say, "Hey, we've got the perfect person to kind of explain these things and whatnot." So yeah, feel free to let us know all the juicy details on how people can get involved in this.
Yeah, we want to get the YGG community access however we can. I mean, as John said, we want to get not only the nodes in the hands of the right people, but also our token. So what we're offering to YGG, anyone who has a YGG Founders coin, if you head over to the Beamable Discord, you can just verify your wallet with Matrica. And we're giving you guys a raffle for 50 of our premium airdrop tickets, and that's going to give each of you 1,250 of our tokens just for being here, just for hearing us out, and just for checking out what Beamable is. And hopefully, a lot of you guys that are here listening joined our Discord. If you didn't, go while I'm explaining what we're doing, discord.gg/Beamable Network. Get there fast. We're going to give you guys first come, first serve access to another 20 of those tickets. So this is just free access to our airdrop. And all you have to do, I hope you're there right now, go type !YGG fam, all caps, in any chat in our server. And the first 20 of you to do that, you should get pinged by our bot. If not, I'll just go in manually, give you guys access. But go do that. You're going to get access to, again, our airdrop tickets. It's just going to be automatic. You'll get all the details you need in our server. And then you can also go, if you like what John's talking about with our node sale, if you want to be a part of that alpha sale to help us test out the nodes, to get that initial emission at TGE, you can go to our channel titled Nodes after you enter that code, and you guys can go sign up right away. Everyone who's in this chat right now listening who signs that code can go sign up and get node access as well. So excited to have you guys, excited to be here, and yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. Did Drew miss anything there?
I think those are the two main things. Yeah, the airdrop is just, that's for the YGG community because we believe in what you guys are doing, and we feel like you guys are the right kind of community that we want to have a part of it at the outset. And I should say, by the way, Gabby was an investor in Beamable way back in the Series A at the end of last year. So Bitcraft, which is a huge venture investor in a lot of Web3 games, crypto projects, things like that, they led our Series A. Gabby came into it at that time and was a personal investor in the project. So they came along. So you guys are very good friends of the community here, and you're deep into the friends and family list in terms of like airdrops and stuff like that. So, YGG members are who we want to be part of the foundational community here, which is why the airdrop is going out. That costs you nothing other than jump into the Discord and go grab the airdrop tickets. We appreciate if you follow Beamable Network on X and stuff like that, because we need all the followers we can get there. And then the nodes, those are for sale, but that's such a limited quantity. There's not that many. So again, in the spirit of like partnership here, you can be whitelisted for those and get access to nodes if that's something that you're interested in doing as well.
Yeah,
Now,
guys, and in the Discord, when you type that code, you're gonna see the bot's gonna block you and say you can't send this message. That's only just so our server members don't see what you're sending. So just go in there and spam that message. If you're the first 20, you're gonna get the access. You'll get a DM or a direct at from me, and we'll make sure you get your access.
excellent. So I was going to ask a little bit more about like the details. Do you have like the pricing wise in terms of like what a node's going to cost? What's it going to be paid in on what network? I know a bunch of our community members will start asking that very, very quickly.
good question. So list price on a node is 370 US. We'll be giving you guys a discount code that drops it to 350 first, so you get a special price. It's on Solana, so you should have a Solana wallet. So just get a Phantom wallet set up. That's the way you're going to be able to actually make a node purchase. In terms of the economics, I mean, just specifically the number of tokens that come out, it works out to 3,333 tokens per node. That's just sort of if you divide the 1% circulating supply across the 3,000 nodes. So you get your 1250 from the airdrop. You can get another 3333 off of just the first month emission, and it'll, as I mentioned, it'll continue to emit. It's more variable past the first month because it'll depend on network usage and how many other nodes get deployed and whatnot. But that's the idea, is to give you guys a pretty generous node emission for joining the community early on with these nodes.
Excellent. Yeah, that's fairly generous. And like you said, that's just the initial first month guaranteed allocation. After that, it's not like this thing stops generating tokens. It's just a lot more variable for people that have not run a node before. So super cool. Yes, thank you so much, Drew, for hopping on and explaining that. I see your eyes scrolling, so I'm sure you're watching your Discord as people are popping in there. And
Yeah, the
don't
guys
for
are already popping in the Discord.
well, I don't see
Seeing
any
that right
typing
now.
in our Discord, which must mean that they're all in your Discord. So that's always a good sign. But yeah, thank you so much for that. And you know, when can they expect this TGE to go live? Is it live now? Is it going to be live in a month? When's the drop date for that, as well as the airdrop?
Yeah, we haven't published a date yet. The token isn't live yet, but don't hold me to this. Don't go republishing it elsewhere online. But just so you guys know, we're planning that for October. So there's a huge crypto conference called Token 2049 that happens right at the beginning of October, and then when that settles down, that's when we plan to go live with the token. You guys know crypto markets can be crazy. If things change, we'll move the date back or even forward if it makes sense to do so. But that's kind of the rough timeline that you should have in mind.
Exactly. Yep. No, our community is very familiar. We've moved up and pushed back dates all the time here. As you said, it's very crypto to move stuff around. You got to be free flowing in this industry, especially with your timelines. I'm just kind of going over our agenda here and just seeing what we might have missed. I think we've hit all our really, really important talking points here. We've talked about the airdrop. We've talked about the infrastructure. John, Drew, anything else you guys want to plug near and dear to your heart before we kind of wrap this up?
The thing I just sort of re-emphasize here is this category that Beamable is in, which is called DPIN. It's a really unique category within crypto in that there's two sides of it, what we call the demand side and the supply side. So the supply side is this crypto native side. That's the part that all of you are playing in with the token and the nodes, and you kind of have to be somewhat crypto savvy to understand the structure of how that works. And that's because that's the structure of the network. The servers are connected to a blockchain enabled network, and you get paid out in token. But what's cool about DPIN is the customer side of that doesn't have to know anything about crypto. So all the users of these, they don't have to be Web3 games. We actually have access to this humongous gaming market of Web2 games as well. They don't have to have token in their game. They don't have to have NFTs. They could just be like a normal, quote unquote, normie, like mobile game, for example, that just needs game servers. And we can power that. You guys get paid in token. They don't have to know anything about tokens. So it's just an important thing to understand, which is DPIN is this unique category within crypto where a lot of the revenue and the demand side comes from the normies of the world, with the crypto side benefiting from it by providing the service.
Yeah, and to add on that too, I don't let people fool you by saying that Web3 gaming is dead. Somebody says Web3 gaming is dead, and I just shake my head because it's really only just learning to take its shape. They're thinking about games that are built with crypto on the forefront, etc. This is Web3 at its core. Decentralizing and making access for game developers open is the best thing that you can do for the gaming industry, in our opinion. And that's the mission. Make games and development more accessible for developers to make games better for everyone.
100%. Yeah. Anybody that's saying that is not seeing what's going on here. As our friends Sam Stefanina loves to say, Web3 gaming is inevitable.
Inevitable.
And the whole idea is to make it so that people don't understand there's a difference between Web 2 and Web 3, right? By doing the things like you're saying, making the back end so seamless that you wouldn't even know that it's a Web 3 game. It just has all these aspects built in. So very exciting to hear that you guys are on the forefront of helping make that possible.
In a way, we're onboarding all game developers to Web3, even if they don't realize it. Like they don't have to have a token in their game. They'll be a Web3 game just kind of behind the scenes by building a platform.
Exactly, right? So very, very happy that you guys are making that kind of transition for games, and even games that might not even know that they want that yet, right? If down the road they're like, hey, what's this technology? Can we switch it? You guys are already there, ready to go.
We're ready to help as soon as they realize that.
Perfect. AC, do you have any wrap-up questions here for John or Drew?
Yeah, very interesting. I've seen the form for the node sale. I have been experimenting in the Web3 space and got some node running on the East Flow, which I can see that you are also supporting. So I think, I don't know if this is a good question, but uh, how much will be the server fee to run one node?
Oh, to operate a node. That's a good question. A little bit of a TBD, but I mean, typically these nodes are operating like around $6 to $10 per month is typical. And we're working out an arrangement where if you own multiple nodes, you could run it from one container for like the same fee up until you get like, there's some people that may have a lot of nodes, but like multi-node operators, it's probably within the same fee structure. And of course, if you want to run it on your old computer that's not doing anything in your basement, like that's always the option too. Like that'll only cost you your electricity.
Well, that's why I loved when you say you could run it on a Raspberry Pi. I've got like 4 old laptops just sitting here. I'm like, I could put these to work right now. So the wheels are turning. I'm sure that's very similar for a bunch of our community members as well who have upgraded their PCs, but probably have their old one kicking around. But yeah, thank you so much, Drew and John, for joining us and running through. Like we said, we usually deal with games, but this has been very interesting and eye-opening for myself, probably for you as well, AC, to know somebody that's building a lot of the back-end infrastructure for some of the games in Web3 that we really, really, really love. So I'm happy that we can make the connection and bring you guys to the forefront and hopefully educate a lot of our community on the people that are developing these tools on the background.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. And I'm glad you guys play the games because we couldn't exist without you. So we're always just trying to help our game developers, and players are where it actually matters. And the thing you guys should just know is like, the better we can help game developers save money, be more sustainable, that means they can make more fun games. That's what it comes down to. So it is ultimately to benefit all of you who play games.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Drew, anything from you?
Hey, we're all set. Look out for Pudgy Party. That's going to be built on Beamable as well. That's coming very soon.
Super.
You can wish list it now. They would love it. Pudgy Revolution.
Awesome. Well, our community sure does love Pudgy Penguin, so I'm sure they'll be typing in.
That's our PFP right now. We had to join the wave.
That's I know. We just changed ours as well. So Pudgy's is all over the place right now. They're doing something right.
Hey, culture is the whole ecosystem, and when one wins, we all win. So
perfect. Well, Drew, John, I know you guys have a hard stop at the top of the hour, so I want to give you guys some time to recoup before your next meetings or whatever you got. Me and AC are going to stay on here because we've got a few other things to plug to our community, but feel free to hop off. And again, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us and talk about your project.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me here. It's been a blast. And let me know if there's any more questions. Drew will be checking in with everybody. We're always happy to follow up with anything anyone's curious about.
Yeah, much love to you guys. Ping us in the Discord if you need absolutely anything. We're there for you.
Oh, I'm sure some of our community members will. I've seen that they're claiming rewards. So if you see a YGG tag, you know where they came from.
Love it. Thank you guys so much.
All right,
Cheers.
everybody. Have fun.
See you, John. See you, Drew.
Yeah.
Well, AC, that was very exciting. I didn't realize
very
how-
informative and very exciting platform that we've discussed tonight.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many games that we've featured here are building with Beamable. So super cool to hear that and kind of put a face to the name of the people that are building stuff. On that note, I just want to
100%.
plug a bunch of stuff that we have left over to talk about. So one of the big things, guys, is I think Kenzo is the only one to have filled this out, which is a little bit saddening. I don't know what you're all doing, but guys, I need your submissions for the Gap Legacy AMA that we're going to have on August 1st. How am I going to showcase our amazing community and how much Gap is meant to everybody if nobody fills out this form? Kuya, I'm looking at you, my dude. You're a resident content creator. Tito.
Yeah, Kev's boring BB, our OGs in the Gap.
Yeah.
Would love to
Anybody
see your,
and everybody, really.
achievements there.
If you've made a
Yeah.
Twitter post, anything, please fill out that form. I need I need content to be able to showcase stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty boring stream to wrap up here. So I will once again, be asking for your help, and I'm going to be posting the Bernie meme, I guess.
Yeah. Let's
I'm-
see your names in our legacy.
That's it. This is your opportunity for a shout out. AC, what about you? Anything else?
Yeah, for me, as always, our weekly stream from Tuesdays to Fridays. Don't miss out, especially on those PH side as well. Those community nights will give you a lot of information, updates, and whatnot in the Web3 space.
Exactly. So definitely be checking that all out. Remember, May's got her great streams during the week as well. Guys, if you haven't been checking out Lowland, we've got a new board coming, or already dropped. I can't remember. But again, if you're farming that abstract farm, don't forget we've got
Yep,
now
that's
we've got
XP.
we've got Gigaverse now, even more farm there. If you're using premium rolls on Lowland, you're getting that XP as well. Like you could be farming some serious stuff. I see Gabby out there farming XP, and if Gabby's farming, it's probably something good. So guys, check all that out. Again, it's been a pleasure to have all you guys here and chatting with us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or AC, and we will catch you next week. Actually, next week I think we've got some pretty exciting stuff kicking off and going on. I'm gonna, before we wrap up here, let me just check so I can give you guys the lowdown, the scoops, some leaks in
Some
terms of what are
teasers.
exactly in terms of what it is. But while I pull that up, guys, Gap is ending very, very soon.
Yeah, we only have 2 weeks left.
That's it.
Few more weeks. Yeah. And
Oh.
make sure to, if you have a problem, you can submit a support ticket. Tag us. Make sure to tag us so we can see uh, the the query that you've sent, because sometimes we are getting a lot of tickets, so we cannot see that. So make sure to tag us
Yeah,
for our community nights.
yeah, feel free to bump us. We're not gonna be mad at you if you bump us. The worst we can do is say we can't help you at the time.
Mm.
I'm actually gonna pin this forum. Have I pinned the forum? I have pinned the forum. The forum's already pinned in the AMA channel. So please go tell all your friends, tell your guildmates. We need the
Other-
content. In terms of what we've got for next week, so we do not have anything 100% concrete. We're still working out the details, but I can leak that we are planning on having possibly Sparkball on Wednesday, where we can play with the community because Sparkball was super dope to play. And then on Friday, we might be doing a mini tournament with Ola versus PH. So, and we'll be playing wild card. We're going to be trying to find the best wild card players from Ola and from the PH, and then we're going to see which region gets the bragging rights. So be on the lookout
Mhm.
for that, and we will see what shakes.
Yep, an
AC,
exciting tournament.
anything else from you? What can we expect next week for Taco Tuesday and Deep Dive Thursday?
Yeah, for next week, let me just check for those specific. I think we have Honeyland. Hopefully, I think only mobile players can access the game at the moment. Not sure if the web service is already up. So hopefully for next week everything will be up so we can continue our Tuesday tacos for Honeyland and what we can discuss further. And for Deep Dive Thursday, we're gonna have Gap Season 10 rollout. So before our Gap ends.
Yes, exactly. So guys, get those quests in. You don't want to be leaving it till the last point, right? That's when stuff screws up. So if you can get it in sooner than
Yeah.
later, we always recommend that. But
Make
on
sure
that note,
to double check that you submitted the form because mostly some people are forgetting. They just click on enroll and then leave it.
exactly, it's one thing to enroll, it's another thing to fill out the form. So make
Yeah,
sure you do both. But yeah, thank you so much again for everybody who joined and hanged out. I hope you had a great time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Although I guess the day is over for you guys in the Philippines. So
yeah. Already weekends. Happy
yes.
weekends.
Oh, that's right. It is the weekend. So hopefully it stops raining. I see a lot of rain in the Philippines. Hopefully you guys can
Mm,
get some sun.
definitely. We need that because it's too flooded in other places.
Oh, really? You guys
Oh,
are getting
also
flooding?
here, yeah.
It's the
We have
complete
a lot
opposite
of flood.
here in Canada. We are having so much heat and not enough rain that we're getting lots of wildfires.
Oh shoot,
Yeah.
that
So
is more dangerous fire.
I don't know. Flooding is pretty bad too. It's extremes of each spectrum. So Mother
Yeah,
Mother Nature is
exactly.
throwing each
Mother
each
Nature.
end of the spectrum to both of us. I think it's usually the
Yeah,
other way around, but who knows? But AC, thanks so much, bud, for joining me. I know you've got a busy schedule as well, but always a great time to have you on here helping me co-host.
definitely. Thanks as well, Fallen. All right.
All right, cheers, guys. We will catch you in the metaverse.
The
Together we play.
metaverse. Together we play. See you, YG.